Last season, Luton Town completed the ultimate fairy tale story by getting themselves promoted to the top flight of English football for the first time since the early 90s. But unfortunately, that fairy tale is now over as they have been relegated from the Premier League back down to the Championship. But guys, I've got a soft spot for Luton Town, so I'm going to help these guys out a bit. So today guys, I'm going to take charge of Luton Town, and not only am I going to get them playing Premier League football once again, I'm going to make them the world's best club. But this isn't going to be that simple. I'm allowed a maximum of 3 signings per season, and those signings have to come from relegated teams only from the league that we're playing in right now. Like I said, this isn't going to be simple. Strap yourselves in guys, because this is going to be a challenge. So here is the starting 11 I've loaded into with Luton Town, and I'll be real with you lot, it's quite easy to see why these guys have been relegated. The team just simply isn't good enough. I mean, they do have a couple of really good players for them, like Alfie Doughty, like Tom Lockyer, like Kaminsky, and also Ross Barkley. But let's just call a spade, guys. This team simply wasn't good enough for the Premier League, and ultimately that's why they've been relegated despite their best efforts. And on top of that, Issa Kabore and Albert Sambi-Lokonga, two of the best players playing for Luton Town, are currently on loan to them right now, and that really doesn't help my first year as Luton Town's manager, because we've only got 15 mil to spend in season 1, and we can't spend this on anything else other than players who've just been relegated, so that means we can't do anything about Issa Kabore or Sambi-Lokonga. Now in real life, alongside Luton Town, Burnley and Sheffield United were actually relegated, so that means in season 1 we can only buy from the Blades and from Burnley. But before we get ahead of ourselves and start buying players willy-nilly, we've got to figure out what we're actually doing with this team tactics-wise, because right now it's a bit of a mess. Now call me crazy guys, but I'm going for the 4-4-2 holding variations where we've got a centre midfielder and a CDM in the middle of the park. And for a change guys, I'm going to use the kick and rush. I'm not sure if this is going to work, but there's only one way to find out, isn't there? But after meddling with the team, this is by a mile the strongest starting 11 we can field right now before making any signings, and honestly I already feel like it's a promotion contender this season. The big question is though, where am I going to put this 15 million? Remember guys, we can only sign from Burnley and Sheffield United, and we're allowed up to a maximum of 3 signings if I want to this year. Now guys, I'm looking at this team right now, and apart from our wingers who are pretty young anyway, there's not really any positions that I think proper need improvement straight away. So what I'm going to do guys, I'm just going to go onto the transfer market, look at what Sheffield United and Burnley have to offer, and then we can go from there. Now ladies and gents, the Blades have a baller on their hands up top. Cameron Archer, who's only 21 years old. Granted he's the same rating as our current 2 strikers, but if I'm not mistaken he's way younger than them. And I'm bang on the money guys. Morris is 27, Adebayo's 25, so signing Cameron Archer realistically guys is a no-brainer. And I think signing Amin Al-Dakil from Burnley is also a no-brainer too. He's 21, 72 overall, and he's showing great potential. And I think partnering him up with Tendon Mengi is a recipe for a damn good centre-back partnership. This would obviously mean that Tom Lockyer is going to get sidelined this year. I know this may not go down well with Luton Town fans, I'm just purely thinking of the future. And that's why I just signed both Cameron Archer and Amin Al-Dakil for the combined total of 9.9 million. This does leave us 4 million for that third and final signing, but honestly, I think we're just going to have 2 considering it's only Burnley and Sheffield United being relegated. But that doesn't mean the transfer window's over for me, as all 4 of these players are going to be sent out on loan purely to make way for other players in their positions. As for what I'm going to do for the players on loan to us right now, I'm just going to keep them at the club because quite frankly, they're better off with us than against us. And that does mean the starting 11 looks like it's going into our first year back in the Championship with Luton Town. Now I'm looking at the Championship overall, and I feel like there is a strong chance we can bounce straight back up to the Prem this season. But honestly, if we can't pull that off, it doesn't really matter. All that matters to me is that this team overall massively improves by the end of this season, because if that happens, we set ourselves up for success in year 2 in charge of Luton Town. And guys, I think we may have just done that, because look at the state of some of these players, man. Even Ross Barkley's gone up to 77 overall. That's when you know you've had a good year. And look who's our top goal scorer, 30 goal contributions for Elijah Adebayo. Fair play to the guy. Cameron Archer surprised me though, despite him going up by 5 overall. He only got 13 goal contributions. He needs to book his ideas up next season. But looking at the team now, I'm confident. I'm very confident that we've at least made the playoffs. And not only did we make the playoffs, we just missed out on automatic promotion. Well, I say missed out, we finished 3rd, 10 points behind Preston North End. But the bad news is, if we don't get promotion via the playoffs, we are only allowed to sign from Plymouth Argyle, Rotherham United and Blackburn Rovers in season 2. And guys, honestly, I'm gobsmacked. We have crashed out of the playoffs against Norwich City 4-3 on aggregate, so we can only buy the relegated place from the Championship. That is not a good start to Season 2 already. But on the bright side, we did at least have a decent FA Cup run. But we had a stinker in the Carabao Cup. I can't get over this though, guys. This team right here is a Premier League side playing in the Championship. And honestly, I'm not getting me hopes up for who I can get from Blackburn, Rotherham United and Plymouth Argyle. Season 2 though is going to be very interesting because I feel like we're going to heavily rely on this team to get the job done. The question is, are they going to be able to do that? But before we find out, did you guys know I'm in a race with this twerp right here, Raman, to 100,000 subscribers, and I simply cannot let him beat me. So if you're enjoying this video so far and want to see more content like this, leave it a big old thumbs up and make sure you smash that subscribe button. But here we are, guys, in Season 2 of Luton Town, and our budget's increased to 18 million, which is always a nice thing. And guys, I completely forgot about the fact that Issa Kabori is now playing for Manchester City again, so one way or another, we definitely need a better fullback. Because the alternative is Elliot Thorpe, who's only 61 overall, and let's be real, guys, this dude isn't doing anything in the Championship. But for this, we do need to heavily rely on Blackburn Rovers, Rotherham United or Plymouth having a decent fullback. Otherwise, this season, we're going to struggle to get promoted. But I'm starting with Rotherham United, guys. I'm looking through their defenders and they're all absolutely shocking. No wonder these guys have been relegated. They do have a half-decent keeper, though, in Victor Johansson. He's only 25 years old. His contract's running out, meaning we'll get a much cheaper deal on him. And to be fair, we do need a second-choice keeper. Again, I'm looking at Blackburn's defence, and it's not the best. They've got Callum Britton, 72 overall, 26 years old, but honestly, I feel like we need someone better if we're going to get promoted. They do also have Joe Rankin Costello, who is a bit younger, but he's actually a worse player than their other right back. They do have a half-decent CDM though, Luis Travis, only 26 years old, not worth all that much, so this does actually sound like a decent deal. And there we go, guys, our first two transfers this season have been used up for the combined total of 4.8 million. Now it's over to Plymouth Argyle to find us a better fullback, otherwise we're kind of toasted for Season 2. We've found one, ladies and gents, Bally Mumber, who's only 22 years old, he's 74 overall already, he's got something special, thank God for that, we've got our fullback. He is by a mile our most expensive signing yet, coming in at £7 million, but he is going to be worth every single penny. But I've just gone through the squad up and I found Ryan Giles, who's 24 years old, 75 overall. Where in God's name did this guy come from? I didn't see him last season. This means the entire time I was worried about bringing in a new fullback, I was worried for absolutely nothing. I am honestly a malin sometimes, I swear to God. But nevertheless, guys, here is how we all lined up going into Season 2 and our second year in the Championship. But I'm hoping it's our last one in the Championship because I'm looking at the table and the teams in it, and majority of the teams in it I feel like we're clear of. I just need these boys to do it on the pitch because they are absolutely capable of getting us promotion. And this is exactly what I'm talking about. Look at the ratings on some of these players now. We are absolutely no longer just a Championship team. We are definitely a Premier League team waiting to be one. And look at these stats too, man. Adebayo, Cameron Archer, Ogbene, 11 and 9 for Tahith Chong as well. Our front four defo know how to bang goals in now. And look at the morale on the players, man. Every single player is beyond happy. I feel like we pulled off a madness this year. At the very least, we have to have made the playoffs. But we've done more than that. We have won the Championship and we're going up to the Premier League as champions. Beautiful stuff. We've also once again had a decent FA Cup run. This time we got stopped by Man City. But we once again had a stinker in the Carabao Cup. The question is though, guys, who are we allowed to buy from next year? It's going to be Southampton, Norwich City and Preston North End. If I'm not mistaken, the exact same teams that got promoted last year. And honestly, that has just made Season 3 10 times more difficult considering we're now going to be playing with the big boys of England. The good news is though, guys, like I've already said, majority of the players in this team are actually Premier League standard. We just need to brush up on a couple of areas in this team and we'll be good to go for the Prem. But guys, here we are in the brand new season with Luton Town and they are once again a Premier League side, and honestly this is a side I hope to see quite soon. I'd love them to get back into the Prem. Now last year I mentioned a couple of positions that we need to focus on in order to do better in the Prem, and I think you know exactly where I'm talking about. The first position in question is that left winger role where Ogbene plays. Granted, he's a solid player, but I really do want to get somebody better if I can. We also need a better midfielder than Marvelous Nakambe. I mean, this guy's 31 years old. He's nearing to that point in his career where he's going to start dwindling in overall, and I'd like to, if possible, get ahead of that. And you guys must have seen this coming. I want to replace Thomas Kaminski in goal. Now, in real life, I really like this guy. I think he's an unbelievable shot stopper, but I feel like in this game this season, he'll let us down if we keep him. And thankfully, we've got 62 million to spend on those 3 transfers. We just need Southampton, Norwich, and Preston North End to come in clutch for us. And Southampton have got me in a little bit of a pickle. As you can see, they've got a goalkeeper, Gavin Bazunu, 23 years old, 77 overall, and we all know how much potential this guy's got. But they've also got Carlos Alcaraz, who's only 22 years old and already a fantastic player. And they've also got left winger Kamaldeen Sulman, who's only 23 years old, 77 overall. And I've already told you guys how much I want a better left winger. Now here's the choice I've got. Do I play it safe and go with a better goalkeeper and Gavin Bazunu? Or do I go for the winger and Sulman and just hope that Norwich City or Preston North End have got a better goalkeeper? Well guys, I've made my decision and I spent 15 million on Kamaldeen Sulman. I'm putting my faith in Preston North End and Norwich City having a better keeper than Gavin Bazunu. But guys, so far it looks like that was a mistake, as their best keeper is actually Angus Gunn. I so far have taken a massive L in bringing Sulmana into the team. But then again, they do have Gabriel Sara, who's only 26 years old. His contract's running out as well, meaning we'll get a much cheaper deal, and we need a centre mid, so it kind of all works out quite well. It all comes down to Preston North End though, and oh my god, we've taken a massive L here. Freddie Woodman's their best goalkeeper. We absolutely should have gone for Gavin Bazunu. But guys, I'm looking through this team, and I'm not actually surprised they've been relegated from the Prem. This team is awful. I mean, their best player is centre-back Aruna Sangante. I mean, it looks like this guy's going to be our 3rd and final transfer, but this is not the way I wanted this transfer window to go. But nevertheless, guys, we have to accept the L's when they come our way, as for 28.5 million, we've just signed both of these players on 5-year deals. But to be fair, guys, this team is looking pretty stellar going into Season 1. Obviously, there's a few weaknesses, but overall, I think we might do quite well. My only real regret though, guys, is not replacing Thomas Kaminski with Gavin Bazunu. It was literally there for the taking and I said no to it. I'm just hoping that the overall quality in this team is enough to make that mistake not matter, because ultimately, guys, that mistake could get us relegated if we're not careful. But thankfully, it hasn't got us relegated. We are 15th in the Prem. We were more than good enough to survive this time. But the big question now, guys, who can we buy from next year? Brentford, Wolves, and Everton finished rock bottom, only winning 4 games all season. Oh my god. I mean, all 3 of those teams have got some good players, but Everton finishing rock bottom with only 4 wins from 38. That makes me not want to sign anyone from that team. But moving on to the FA Cup, we've had a stinker getting absolutely smashed in round 3 by Bradford. And we've had yet another stinker in the Carabao Cup as well. But honestly, this team is coming on leaps and bounds. Look at Alfie Doughty, for goodness sake. What a player he's turning into. And honestly, fair play to Kaminski. I doubted him at the start of this season, but he's grown to a 79 overall player. As for the stats, guys, to be honest, they're quite poor, as you can clearly see. I feel like maybe a change in formation is definitely on the horizon. One that's more attacking than this 4-4-2 formation, because quite frankly, guys, our attack is probably the best part of this team. But the question is, though, which formation do I actually use? Because honestly, I don't want to drop either Cameron Archer or Adebayo. They're both really good players. But guys, we've just arrived into Season 4 and I've made my mind up on the formation. The 4-2-3-1 narrow is what I feel like is best for Luton Town. And you may have noticed from the starting 11 a couple of players were missing. That's because I have gone on a warpath selling a lot of players that I don't use just to give us as much money as possible. And it's weird, guys, because we can now spend 92 million on players from Brentford, Everton and Wolverhampton Wanderers. And obviously, I'm going to try and look for a goalkeeper this time. Kaminski did well last year, but I feel like his time is absolutely up this season. We also need a better CDM, another cam, or a winger for that matter. Either one, I'm not too fussed, but we definitely need a better CDM. And I've been lucky enough to find João Gomez from Wolves. He's 82 overall, 25 years old. This guy is exactly what we're looking for. And we've got our winger, guys, Brian Mbeumo, who's only 27 years old, playing for Brentford. This guy's a game changer. I genuinely couldn't could not be more happy with the players we found so far. And after spending a combined total of £59.5 million, we've signed both of these players on 4-year deals, leaving us one transfer to make from Everton. And guys, I'm praying to God he's still there. Oh my God, he is. We are so lucky. Jordan Pickford is still an Everton player, which means we can finally replace Kaminsky. And £14.2 million later, we secured him on a 3-year deal, and that's our transfer window done. And as you can see from the team, guys, that was by a mile our best transfer window yet. I honestly feel like this is going to get us top 10 football. We finally got ourselves a better keeper in Jordan Pickford. We brought in a very good CDM and winger. There is nothing stopping us this season from jumping from 15th to that top 10. And I was bang on the money. We are top 10 with Luton Town in the Premier League. And when you take a closer look at that table, that's not the wildest thing that's happened this season. We've finished above Chelsea and Liverpool, and on top of that, we were only 3 points outside the top 6, so European football, as daft as this sounds, may just be around the corner. But a part of that depends on who we're allowed to sign from next season, so let's take a look at who got relegated. Burnley, Southampton and Middlesbrough. That just isn't what I wanted to see, man. None of those teams are going to have any players I want. I can see this being a problem, man. Unless we get insanely lucky with those 3 teams next year, we're going to stay in the top 10 and only in the top 10 for quite some time. As for the FA Cup, well, we did alright until Millwall knocked us out. And we actually made the Carabao Cup final, just missing out on lifting that trophy to bloody Newcastle United. But looking at this Luton Town side, guys, I might have to take back what I just said about them. This team might just be good enough, even without 3 transfers next year, to get European football. As for the stats, well, they're the best they've been so far in the Prem. Archer and Buemo Sulman. It looks like making Cameron Archer a solo striker up top was actually the right decision. Overall, guys, Season 4 has been a massive dud. The big question is, how is Season 5 going to go for us now? Now, so far, I'd say it's going pretty damn well, because I've found an attacking midfielder. Aaron Ramsey. He's only 24 now. Granted, he's currently a left midfielder, but I'm almost positive if you convert him to a cam, he actually goes up and overall. And with his contract running out, guys, that means he'll cost way less than usual, so I feel like this is a gamble worth taking. As for Southampton, I found Philip Jorgensen. He's a 25-year-old goalkeeper. He's not as good as Pickford, but he can certainly do a job from the bench if need be. And the best thing is about these players, we got a bargain on both after only spending 33 million combined on them. And that leaves us 30 million to spend on our 3rd and final transfer, and that transfer is going to be from Borough, so I don't feel like we're going to use all of this money. But thankfully, I found someone from Borough who can turn into an absolute baller. Lucien Agomi, only 25 years old. This guy's got something special. He's well within our budget. This one is a no-brainer. And there we go, guys. For 20 million, he's signed for us on a 4-year deal, and that's our transfer window done. But it's now the moment of truth, guys. Is converting Aaron Ramsey going to improve him as a player? Yes, it is. 79 overall. I genuinely feel like we got our endgame cam with this dude now. I am really liking the looks of this team so far, man. Obviously, we do need a better centre-back than Al Dakhil. Obviously, Ramsey definitely needs to improve this season, but overall, I really cannot complain. Let's put it like this. Last season, with a weaker team, we finished inside the top 10. With the team we've got now, which is massively improved since last season, I am absolutely expecting European football. And that's exactly what we've got. We've got Champions League football next year with Luton Town. I cannot believe how well we've done, man. But look how tight it was in the top half of the table. From 3rd in the league to 8th in the league, there was only 5 points separating them. If we'd have lost one more game, there's a good chance we wouldn't have got European football at all, man. That's how close it was. But it's okay having Champions League football. Who can we bar from? Bournemouth, Coventry and Brentford. Brentford are decent. Bournemouth are also decent. Coventry City, I'm not so sure about. But moving on to the positives, we finished in the semis of the FA Cup, just missing out to Arsenal. We're getting better and better domestically. But we go back to having a stinker in the Carabao Cup. Round bloody 3 is where we ended up. But this team is coming on leaps and bounds every single season. If we can get a better centre-back than Al Dakhil and a better attacking midfielder than Ramsey, we are set for the UCL. I honestly think a good attacking midfielder is all we're missing. These are good stats without one. Imagine what they'd look like with one. But this season is full of good news. Top 4 finish, UCL football next year, and absolutely no financial difficulties from here on out. We've just got to hope that Bournemouth, Coventry and Brentford can deliver in that transfer window next season. Otherwise, we may find the UCL pretty damn difficult to begin with. And I've got to be honest, I am pleasantly surprised with Bournemouth. Eric Martel plays for them, 26 years old, a very good player. I don't know if he'll fit into the starting 11, but it doesn't hurt to add quality to the bench, does it? And so far, we are 2 for 2, ladies and gents. Otavio plays for Brentford, a 26-year-old centre-back, levels above Amin Al-Dakil. I mean, this is looking very good. And just like that, our first 2 transfers have been used up for the combined total of 87 million. And that leaves us 74 mil from the original 169 million we had to spend. What did I tell you guys? Financially, we are absolutely sound. We just need Coventry to somehow come in clutch for us now. And somehow, guys, they just might have. Santiago Lozano plays for them, a regen or pre-gem as somebody who's 23, 81 overall. I mean, I'm definitely not complaining. He looks like a bit of a beast, and I feel like I'd be a fool to not sign him. And for 36 million, guys, that is exactly what I did. And after that transfer window especially, I am really liking the looks of this team, man. Our back four is stronger than it's ever been. Our front four looks absolutely fantastic. And honestly, this could not have come at a better time. Because for the first time under my management, Luton Town are in the Champions League. We're in Group A alongside Juve, Sporting and Rangers. And after the start we've had, I'm exceptionally confident about this season. 3 games played, 3 wins, undefeated so far. These guys just need to keep their foot on the gas until the very end of the season, because if they do that, who knows, we may end up calling Luton Town the best team in England. But guys, we're not quite there yet. Liverpool are the best team in England this season by 6 points, but we are still inside the top 4, and to be honest, we're establishing Luton Town as one of the big boys in England now, which I'm very happy about. And the most impressive thing about this, we've been able to do this with only relegated players only. So with that being said, who are the relegated teams? Burnley, Wolves and Borough. Come on, man, why can't any other teams get relegated at this point? I mean, an Aston Villa, an Arsenal, a Brighton, a Manchester City would definitely not go amiss. Not bloody Middlesbrough again. Honestly, we could do winning the UCL this year, but something tells me we're not quite there yet. However, we did make it to round 6 in the FA Cup, so that's not that bad. And in fairness, we made it to round 4 of the Carabao Cup. But Oxford United made it to the final of the Carabao Cup. How the hell did they get there, but we can't? That's just not acceptable. But this is definitely acceptable. We are joint top of the table in Group A alongside Juve. Exact same, basically everything, and we go to the knockouts. And that is where we just about make it past FC Midtjylland. And honestly, that is not a good sign if we're only just beating teams like that. And this is what I mean, guys. Leipzig have battered us in the quarters, and looking at the rest of the ties, Leipzig were the easiest team on there, and we still lost to them. But looking at the team, I'm honestly struggling to see how we got battered by Leipzig, because I'm willing to bet we've actually got a stronger starting 11 than them. And these stats are getting better every year. Look at Cameron Archer, for goodness sake, 35 goal contributions in 53 games. That is fantastic. But I'd be lying if I said I wasn't worried about our goalkeeper situation. Jordan Pickford is nearing the end of his career. We can't keep him in goal for much longer. So that means either Burnley, Wolves or Middlesbrough are going to have to cough up a decent goalkeeper. Otherwise, we may end up in a pretty sticky situation. Now, guys, I have found a goalkeeper in Season 7. James Beadle is 24 years old, 81 overall, but here's where the issue lies. We've already got a goalkeeper who's the exact same rating as James Beadle, so bringing him into the team doesn't seem like a smart move. I feel like until we find somebody at least better than Jorgensen, it is absolutely pointless bringing a keeper in, so therefore I'm going to have to say no to James Beadle. But I'm not going to say no to Levi Colwill. This guy is an absolute beast. He's only 26 as well. And look who's playing for Burnley, guys. Look at Warwick Kolosho. He's 24. He's a very good player. He won't get in the starting 11 for us, but he can definitely get a place on that bench. And just like that, for the combined total of 95.5 million, we signed both of these players on 4-year deals. And this leaves 100 million on the dot to buy a single player for Middlesbrough, and I am not getting my hopes up about Borough, but you never know, they could deliver an absolute beast. Unfortunately, guys, that isn't the case. I mean, their highest rated goalkeepers, for example, are 74 bloody rated. And looking through the team, man, this is just absolutely abysmal for Middlesbrough. No wonder they've been relegated. They're absolutely shocking. I mean, Mishu is their best player, so it looks like this is the guy that we're going to use our third transfer up. But honestly, if it was left to me, I'd leave him at Borough because we just don't need him. But after spending 16.8 million on him, that officially concludes Season 7's transfer window. But I'm getting increasingly worried about this Jordan Pickford situation, man. I've got such a bad feeling we're going to have to somehow try to win the Champions League without a good goalie, and that's simply impossible. Luckily though, we should easily get out of our group stage. We're with Bayern Munich, PSV and FCSB in Group B. But this certainly isn't the start we wanted. 3 games played, 1 win, 1 draw, 1 loss. This is levels below how we started last year. I just hope that that's not what we're going to see at the end of this season, because honestly, this team should be contenders to win the Premier League and the UCL. And guys, we were so goddamn close, man. Liverpool once again beat us to that title by 5 points. But look at our goals for and against, man. Granted, we banged a lot of goals in, but we also conceded a lot. Having Pickford as our best goalkeeper is really batting us in the backside at the minute. And just to rub salt into the wounds, we lost the FA Cup to the bloody bottle jobs. Absolutely fantastic. And they knocked us out in the Carabao Cup too. Season 7 can get straight into the bin as far as I'm concerned. But thankfully, we have made it out of the Champions League group stage and we go to the knockouts. But we got knocked out straight away by Barca on penalties. I'm telling you now, Pickford is letting us down and we desperately need to replace him. I mean, for God's sake, he's 36 years old and now 82 overall. If next year we can't get a better goalkeeper, we're legitimately screwed. And it's a shame, man, because the stats overall aren't all that bad. Sulmana 23 and 12, Archer with 18 goal contributions, 20 for Mbuemo as well. And this is what I mean, guys. Pickford from 28 games only managed 5 clean sheets. That's just not good enough, is it? And it's just dawned on me, I haven't even checked who's relegated this year. Who can we buy from next year? Everton, Bournemouth and Brentford once again. Is it the same teams literally every single season? But regardless, guys, we've just got to hope that one of those teams delivers, because otherwise we're going to be stuck in this same position for a very long time. But it looks like Everton aren't the team to give us a goalkeeper. Chris Brady and Milan Novak are the 2 keepers they've got, and quite frankly, neither of them would even fit on our bench right now. They do, however, have Bader Ahmed, who I believe to be Riyad Mahrez's regen. I mean, he looks like a very good player, and honestly, Everton's best, so I'm going to take him off their hands. No keeper from Brentford either, as their best one is Hakan Valid Marson, who's 78 overall, and again, he won't even fit our bench. But they do have Firmin, who I believe to be an amazing player in real life, only 27 years old. We'll bring him in for a bit of squad depth. And there we go, guys. Those are our first 2 transfers used up for the combined total of 91.5 million. And that leaves us 156 mil to spend on a player from Bournemouth. And I am praying to God that it is going to be a goalkeeper, but I'm not holding my breath. This is unbelievable. Alessio Conte, who's a 22-year-old, 85 rated keeper. I don't know whose regen or pre-regen this guy is, but he's literally the answer to my prayers right now. That has got me curious. How the hell have Bournemouth managed to get relegated with an 85 rated keeper? I mean, their team overall isn't that bad. Sure, there's not many good players, but surely they're good enough to stay up with a keeper that good. But regardless of the reason, their loss is my gain, and for 58 million, we have finally got our hands on a goalkeeper. And honestly, the timing couldn't be any better, as we are in Group D alongside Sevilla, RB Salzburg and Galatasaray in the Champions League. And let's be real, we should swamp this group, especially after the start we've had in the Premier League. 3 games played, 2 wins, 1 draw, undefeated. This is more like it. We've officially done everything we can, man. We sorted the goalkeeper problem out. The starting 11 is absolutely world class, alongside the bench being phenomenal as well. But I truly believe our new keeper, Alessio Conte, is going to make the biggest difference this year, man. Having a good goalkeeper is legitimately a game changer. But apparently it isn't, because we still can't win the bloody Premier League. Arsenal won it this time by 4 points. Well, at least in the game they can win it, because in real life they just can't, can they? And next year, guys, we'll only be able to sign players from Wolves, Southampton and Coventry City. Why is it always the same teams over and over again? Why can't their recruitment help them to survive the Prem? Well, moving on from the Prem, we've had an absolute stinker in the FA Cup. And guys, we've made yet another Carabao Cup semi-final, just missing out to bloody Chelsea this time. And to top it off, the Bottle Jobs actually won the Carabao Cup. Chelsea, you had 1 job, just 1. As for our group stage, it's disappointing to say the least. We may have got through to the round of 16, but we didn't top the group like I wanted to. But thankfully this time we have made it past the round of 16 after smashing Milan. And we're through to the semi-finals after getting past PSG. We could be playing Juve, Real Madrid, Real Sociedad. Oh, please give me Real Sociedad. Get us to that final. It wasn't Sociedad, it was Juve, and we beat them 4-3 3 on aggregate, and we're playing Real Sociedad in the final, who have battered Real Madrid 4-2. Okay, I'm having second thoughts about playing them in the final. I mean, if that team is beating Real Madrid, I'm not sure we're capable of beating them. But to be fair, maybe I'm underestimating how good we are, because as you can see from our stats, guys, we've had a solid season, more than solid to be fair. We're in the UCL final, and this is the team playing against Real Sociedad in the Champions League final, and honestly, I feel like this is 50-50. It could go either way. Real Sociedad beat Madrid to get to the final, but we've got a world-class team. Literally, it could go either way. Now, guys, we spent 8 years with Luton Town, starting them off in the Championship, only signing players who've been relegated that season, and building them up to the point where they're playing against Real Sociedad in the Champions League final. The big question is, can they make themselves the best team in the world? And they've done it! Cameron Archer, Sara and Archer again. We smashed Sociedad in the Champions League final. Real Sociedad may have destroyed Madrid, but we've destroyed them. And guys, this was not an easy task, man. Finding a goalkeeper that is half decent from a relegated team was near on impossible, but the second that we did, things changed and we became the best team in the world. And that means our job with Luton Town is done and dusted. If you enjoyed this video, leave a like on it, smash that subscribe button, help me beat Raman to 100,000 subscribers. And if you want to watch another one of my videos, you should click right here, because this one's an absolute banger.